Talk Funding Backstory with Adam from IntelliSafe and their Safespace Shield. It's a great backstory, folks. It's 28 minutes long, but it's worth every moment. And if you can't see it all in the 28 minutes, I've chopped up the really good bits into small wee nuggets, which are about 1 to 3 minutes long, and they'll be following up in later videos. So let's go. Let's get on with the show. Talk Funding Backstory, and here we are with Adam from IntelliSafe. As you can see, Adam and I are getting on like a house on fire, and it's been really enjoyable. A series of interviews with doing the main interview and then the deep dive. And already in the deep dive, he was moving on to another product, which we'll maybe talk again further in the backstory, or we might even do a separate video of it, which is really the next stage on from the current product on Kickstarter. Look, I really don't know where to start, Adam, in terms of a backstory. I mean, I went through your own extensive portfolio in terms of your own journey and entrepreneurial journey, and really wanting to give back, like as you said in the main interview, just to help people. And that seems to be the whole ethos behind your team and behind this product, is not only just help people in the United States, but actually to help people in the world. Maybe we can just start, looking at your journey, your team's journey to get to this product, and then maybe we'll finish up by looking at this another product which you're going to develop next.
Yeah, happy to. It's been a wild ride, that's for sure. I actually got my background in Washington, D.C. many years ago. And I trained under Roger Robinson, the Honorable Roger Robinson, who was a leading thinker within the Reagan administration. And a lot of people properly credit him for coming up with a strategy that took down the Soviet Union and helped free 300 million people. So working for Roger, I had no choice but to wake up every morning and try to think about ways to make the world a better place. So after 9/11 hit, my entrepreneurial journey began with a database. We were a research company, an analytic company. We were a SaaS company before there was such a thing as SaaS, whereby we identified every publicly traded company in the world that was doing business with Iran and other terrorist sponsoring governments. So we touched off probably the largest divestment campaign since South Africa. There were obviously the Northern Ireland campaign as well. This was all back in the early days of ESG. And it was a lot of fun. It was, we did a lot, according to public reports, we took about $32 billion out of the coffers of Tehran and other bad guy countries. So I think we did a lot of good on that one. And, really the genesis of that was trying to avoid war. We thought there was a better way to defund terrorism than to send troops, boys and girls, over to Afghanistan and Iran and Iraq. Regrettably, while our efforts were successful, we still lost a lot of people along the trail. So that was my start into entrepreneurialism. We eventually exited that company to a firm that a lot of your listeners will know very well, called ISS, Institutional Shareholder Services, which is big into ESG and made its mark in that. I then went on to pioneer a technology that I believe will eventually replace wood pallets. It is a corrugated pallet that's made out of cardboard, industrial strength cardboard. That was a lot of lessons along the trail on that one. We were about 20 years early on it, but a major reducer of emissions. I do believe that the greatest existential crisis facing our kids and their kids is going to be climate change. And that was a passion as well. Obviously, we were trying to do well by doing good and building a company. And then eventually the pathway took me to here. And interestingly, one of my partners, who you'll mention in the team here in a moment, Randy Roberts, is who introduced me to one of my colleagues that we sat down and started the company. Randy was my attorney at my last company, Green Ox Pallet Technology. So small world, and things go full circle. I'll also note that one of our major advisors at Green Ox was Roger Ballantyne, whose testimonials up here. So Roger's had a chance to work with me for many years now. He's a pretty incredible figure too. Different Roger. This particular Roger wrote all of the sustainability policies for President Clinton back as we were starting to get into really sustainability purchasing and how to change corporate behavior through government contracts. So it's been an interesting ride. You know, a lot of people might look at it and say, well, what the heck does all that have in common? And the short form is that, you know, some people would call me maybe a bit of a do-gooder or social justice kind of person. But generally speaking, I just believe that we have a obligation to leave the world a better place for our kids and their kids than we found it. So I try to wake up in the morning and do things that make the world a little bit of a better place and roll up the sleeves and get after it. So that's a little bit about my backstory. I mentioned Randy introduced us to some of the folks who were working on the technology a year ago. We formed IntelliSafe in June of last year and immediately started working on fundraising. We had about $600,000 in seed capital that's taken us to this 18-month mark. If you have investors out there who are part of the TALKFunding crowd, we are about to open a second funding round for another $600,000 to take us through FDA approval of the other product that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. So I certainly encourage people to reach out to me. I'm very easily findable on LinkedIn. I'm very responsive. I always like to chat. And certainly would encourage if people want to become involved with the company from an investment perspective, we'd be happy to have those conversations.
Oh, fantastic. And again, I mean, I think the whole team, what you've just covered and I know you haven't mentioned all the team, but the ethos, just reading through the bios of the team, actually on the Kickstarter page, and all the links for that Kickstarter page will be in the video description below, really shares that ethos of wanting to give back and wanting to really help people, and particularly at this really historic time that we're in at the moment.
Yeah, really a gritty bunch. I mean, it's really interesting that, we have developed a company ethos, even though I've never met in person two of my colleagues.
Really?
Yeah, it's COVID. What are you going to do? We can't just hop on a plane like we used to and shake hands. So yeah, we've been working a lot by Zoom and, but the one common thread through everybody engaged in this project is really a relentlessness, right? We do see an opportunity to both, affect the lives in a positive manner of people with respect to this pandemic, but really our mission, our original objective in forming this company is to make sure this never happens again. I've lived enough COVID for one lifetime, and I think we have the technology to help do that.
And I think one of the things that comes across is, I mean, that's speed. I mean, you guys, one sense, that's good. You guys knows what you're doing. I mean, you've got a history of getting things done before. So if you're only saying that you founded the company really last summer, and then you were into the, you raised some initial funding, and then you were, going again, it's on the Kickstarter page, the journey of the product was really only getting going last December 2020. And here we are 9 months later, where you have, you're at the stage now, you want to get into production. You're doing this key Kickstarter campaign now to raise the funds to get your first run of production in the 6,000 units. Isn't that right?
Right. We've been there and we've done it. Right. So here's an interesting statistic. So Tasha Bond, she's British. And she's our chief operating officer. She's brought about 20 medical devices products to market over her career. She's incredible. I'm a good spokesman. She's really the backbone of the company, and she understands the regulatory process. So Tasha will tell you that the average medical device takes 3 to 5 years and between $5 and $10 million to bring to market. We will be bringing our product to market in less than 2 years and with less than $2 million, period. I mean, that's just who we are, right? So we don't have unlimited resources. I don't have an uncle I can call up and say, we need $1 million. I'll go even further, and this might surprise you. I think, this is one of those deep backstories. None of us have taken a dime in salary. So we've been at this now for 15 months. You know, wake up in the morning, my wife goes to work, she puts a roof over our heads, and she's nice enough to let me chase the entrepreneurial dream. She believes in it, believes in me. Other spouses as well. You know, this has been a major commitment, I guess would be the word. I mean, if you don't see it, if you don't believe in it, you're not going to work for free for 15 months. So
and I think that sort of shines again in some of the videos at the bottom of the Kickstarter page. I mean, you've got yourselves, as we said in the deep dive and the main interview, sitting outside your daughter's school, and basically from your heart saying, we need to get the kids back to school, and we also need to protect the teachers. And again, I encourage people to watch that video, because it's basically, you know, as you say, it's, you know, you can show at the beginning of it how the elements of the mask, but then halfway through the video is actually you put on the mask and you're talking, right? So it's like, it just shows that you can talk, you can see how you're reacting, etc., and it's not fogging up, which we'll come to in a moment. And the other video is with Roger, and my goodness, Roger's some tough cookie. I mean, I watched that one. You were sort of like the soft sort of cop going, here I am outside my school, but really you could see the experience with Roger whenever he was still doing that delivery of, you've been there, done that, you know, you have to have tough compassion at times to get products over the line, to raise funding, and to really push things through. And I can see that it played out in both those videos.
Yeah, a ton of grit, you know, on our entire advisory board. Jody's been fantastic. Jody Green, she is dogged in her introductions to major companies, in bringing people in to look at the technology. I'm still amazed that one of our advisors is Larry Kotlikoff, who was the 2016 third-party candidate for president of the United States against Hillary and Donald Trump. He made it to 48 ballots. So he's a world-renowned economist, an advisor of presidents of kings, and he has decided to add his name to our project, which I still amazed and honored to be working with him. In fact, he's teaching right now over in Switzerland, so we're going to be catching up later on this week. You know, the firepower that's come to this. Russ Lindemann, by the way, who pioneered one of the world's most amazing tools to save children's lives, which is, he woke up one day and realized that how do you do surgery with tools made for adults when you're working with somebody who's this big, right? So he's been there, done it on taking medical devices all the way from, you know, the vision inside your grape all the way to an exit and to market and saving people's lives. Really honored to work with these people. And it does speak to the fact that we have done this, I think, faster, smarter, and less expensively than I think perhaps might otherwise have been the case.
Yeah, the word bootstrapping comes to mind.
Yeah, like, you know, we've done some of that, that's for sure.
It's like, you know, like if you're like, that's fantastic. You're talking about, like, you know, within 2 years or just over 2 years with under $2 million, where, like, you know, being America, as you said, takes 3 to 5 years plus 10x, you know, your $2 million, you know, to get the FDA approval. I mean, fair play to us is all I can say. Yeah. So listen, you're going to have to tell us now. We're going to have to get on to the other bit of news. Is that, you know, you've got this here shield in place, right? Which is the first gen, which is basically I'm calling it first gen. Please correct me. The Safespace shield. And really, what you want to do with this product is really, in this Kickstarter campaign, is really encourage people like myself and other people watching the videos who can share the video and, you know, be able to allow you to go to scale, so you can sell this on scale. And a lot of the pledges are in place for that. You know, you've got right from the very top end, you've got the facility package one, which is like, if you, for example, you used the example, if you've got factories in developing countries and you want to make sure those staff are safe and sound, you can use that. And you've got really some great ones there regarding the schools. And there we were talking about, you know, again, going back to your own mission as CEO video, where you really want to get the kids back into school and make them safe. So absolutely superb. But then, like, as you said, maybe at the end of the deep dive, you were sort of going off and looking at another product which is going to take this a step further. Would you like to say something about that, please, Adam?
Yeah, I think Gen 1 is a really good description or version 1 of the product. I mean, they're very similar and yet they're very different. One product is designed to bridge a gap between where we are today and how do we, account for the fact that it's going to be 2 years before vaccines hit developing countries. Places like Thailand, like you mentioned, who are very much in crisis. And we really believe that between the business community, Dell, for example, is a company that employs thousands and thousands of people in your backyard, right? How hard would it be for Michael Dell to buy 5,000 Safespace masks, send them over to his employees in Ireland, and effectively seed to launch into the market what I think is a highly disruptive, but most importantly, disruptive against the virus product, right? I mean, this is not something that we're all going to wake up and get rich on. We've, at $199, we're actually giving up money. We're donating as well when people donate masks. So, I think this is really important. We have to bridge to a point where we're on the other side of COVID. The next generation product that is well underway now, and in fact employs a lot of the same elements that our Safespace shield does, is called the Mask Zero. It is patent pending, dating back to June 29th of 2020. And it is also a full face sealed mask that can be worn all day. But in this case, we've actually employed a technology that is proprietary. And we are killing virus on the in-breath and out-breath. So that product is in the process of being proved from an efficacy standpoint. That'll be finished in about the next 6 weeks or so, at which time we will hit what's known as design freeze in the medical world, where we freeze the design and we begin the regulatory process of applying with FDA for a class 2 medical device. So this is a product that long-term will be B2B, B2G. It's the type of thing that hospitals will buy and they will have on their shelf. So the next time we see pictures of Wuhan, instead of having to have this kind of dislocation, multiple trillions of dollars, the impact socioeconomically across the globe has been unlike anything that we could have ever imagined. In this case, this is something that will actually prevent transmission, combined with rapid testing, and we are in discussions with a number of companies that have rapid testing capabilities around the world. You identify who has it, they wear a safe shield. Not only can they not, can people not contract the virus, but here's the important, it's coughing, right? So if you have the virus, and we know you have the virus, instead of quarantining for a month somewhere, you put it on your face, you literally cannot give it to anybody. It is where COVID goes to die, or the next COVID goes to die. So yeah, we are excited. I guess it is breaking news. It is you're astute. People will inevitably comment on the Kickstarter page that the mask that I am wearing, the shield that I'm wearing in my video, is different than the shield that Josh is wearing in his video, where he's blowing as hard as he can to see if he can fog it up. So in one case, you are seeing Safespace. In the other case, you are seeing the early iteration, the first prototype of the Mask Zero.
And I just want to share this now, Adam, just to make it clear. So we'll just go to, I just want to encourage, sorry, I'll just scroll down here to look at your excellent video at the start. And again, you're just showing about the elements of the Gen 1, shall we call it. And let's just be clear with the talk funders and the Kickstarters. We need this to work. You need the $1.2 million in place so you can get the 6,000 units initial first run production done, and you can get that done now and shipped for the beginning of 2022. Isn't that correct, Adam?
Yeah, that's 100% correct. And I'll go further, which is if we only have, right now, I think we have 10 backers. I mean, you can see that the numbers are up there. If somebody wants to donate $1.2 million, frankly, it's not a bad use of donation. There are people out there who are ultra high net worth individuals. This is a product that needs to be in the market. And whether it's 50 people backing Adopt a School, or whether it's one person simply pledging without a reward and doing so at high dollar volumes, we need to get this product going. It needs to be shipped. It needs to be around the world. We've set up the infrastructure with a major international nonprofit who's willing to actually accept these donated masks and get them onto the faces of frontline workers all around the world. So yes, I mean, I will, I will, $1.2 million is a big ask for Kickstarter. So I don't know that I'll be disappointed if we don't get there. And I do know that people will bounce this around. It'll make its way through LinkedIn. It'll make its way through social media. This will get us to where we need to go. But it would be awfully nice to wake up one morning and see a very generous donation to help us get to the point that we can start producing this product, because it will save lives.
And so absolutely, my friend. I mean, I really get this. Sorry, we need this mask produced now, basically. Okay. So I want Adam to wake up tomorrow morning with a kind donation of 2.4 million. Okay, so it just needs to happen now, because this is September. This is the end of September at time of recording. So we need to get this production done, and we need to get this first gen mask out and shipped, and to really help humanity now. Okay.
Well, and you said March. Hey, Alan, if somebody does give me that donation tomorrow, it won't be March. I'll be able to go and fast forward everything. Money does talk in the world of production. I mean, we could get these things into the market in January or February if we have a very generous donation. That's for sure.
Well, there you go, guys. I mean, so there's the challenge of the Talk Funders, the Kickstarters of the world. Let's just get this one going, because it's needed now. I mean, it's the solution that is needed now, really, Adam. It's not that it's really of the time. This is the solution that's needed at this moment in time.
Agreed. And thank you very much, Alan. You've been incredibly generous. I imagine other people let you talk more, but you've been very nice to let me just yap away here on your program. And sometime I'll have a program. I'll have you on and just let you talk all the time.
Oh, not at all, my friend. No, I mean, one of the reasons why I love Talk Funding is that I get to meet people like your good self and your team, and just hear your story. And it really is uplifting. You know what I mean? It really is heartfelt. Now, the next stage, which is one sense, and thank you for breaking the news on this channel, is the Gen 2 one, which is your colleague. Sorry, I've just forgotten your colleague's name.
This is the Mask Zero.
This is the Mask Zero. Yeah. So, and then this is the one that is going through all the rigors of development process at the moment.
Yeah, in fact, we're towards the end of the development process at this point, and we will begin the regulatory process of starting to introduce this to the FDA as a Class 2 medical device. So what Josh is wearing here is actually not only a Safespace shield, but that extra part down there at the bottom is where we house the electronics. And those electronics employ a patent pending and proprietary process through which we kill virus. We first capture it on a filter and then kill it on both the in-breath and the out-breath. And actually, if you back up just a little bit, it's very interesting, because the way we've developed this is at the very top there, we encased the batteries. So we're able to, in a very safe way, deliver electronics near the face in order to generate the killing function that we need to, I think, eventually wipe out virus. And I know that's a big statement, but I think this is a Nobel Peace Prize kind of product. We have incredible scientists who have worked on it, who have taken the vision from literally sketches when we started this thing last year, after getting our initial $500,000, $600,000 in funding, and have taken it to the point that, that is a working prototype right there. That is something that is, you can see Josh's smile at both the beginning and end of this. That is not fake. That is a man who worked many, many hours on developing this product and is quite proud of it, and rightfully so.
Wow, Adam, that's all I can say, my friend. You're really, your whole company, like, this came because of your team, not just, not just the guys at the front on the Kickstarter page that, let's call them the high level guys who brought their vast experience, etc. to this point to bring this product, but your team members like Josh, etc., and also your support team of your better half, who's out keeping a roof over your own head, to bring this product, the first generation, which is the solution, which is what we need now, and then developing this second generation going in over the next 24 36 months. Fantastic. I mean, this sounds, please come back. I don't know if you're going to do it. I don't know, there might be a big venture capital fund might come in and swoop you in, and you might disappear with this generation too, but please come back to Talk Funding.
No, Alan,
and tell us about it whenever you're about to go to market,
I will always come back, and I'd love to, if it's okay, I might just summarize. I want to leave people with a very clear vision of where we are. Number one, as a company, we are opening a second seed round, investment round, and that is open to anybody around the world. We are raising another $600,000 to match our first round in order to take us through the development cycle for 2022 for the product that you have up on the screen, which is the Mask Zero product. We also have the first generation product, which is up and available on Kickstarter. People don't have to buy masks. People can donate masks. People can simply donate money. But it's a product that's worth getting into the marketplace. We need $1.2 million in order to launch. As you can see, we have $35,000 in 5 days. So people are going to have to get on the phone. They're going to have to call nonprofits. They're going to have to call folks they know and pass the word through Facebook and LinkedIn. And then the third thing we have, as you said, we are about to begin our institutional investor discussion starting in early 2022. So I do imagine people will watch this. I know you have some of the world's biggest investment companies who watch your show and love to learn about new products like this and new opportunities to make the world a better place and to hopefully do well financially while doing so. And I understand that's part of the investment game. So I promise I won't lose people's money, or I'll do my best not to lose people's money. But yes, so those are the three opportunities that we have available right now. And I really encourage your listeners to, and your viewers to take action. I mean, this is, people have been on the defensive against COVID for a year and a half. I did this because it was my chance to fight back. I mean, we're giving everybody the chance to fight back here. We put these on people's faces, and we will beat the virus, and we will save lives. And so I think it's a cause worth getting behind.
Well, on that really, really positive note of actually fighting back against the virus, is what a beautiful way to interview this backstory, and indeed the 3 series of interviews, which is the main interview, the deep dive, and this rather excellent backstory. Adam, I think I could talk to you all day, my friend. I mean, I could learn so much from you, but I really like to thank Adam from IntelliSafe and all his team, including his hard-working wife there. He's away out keeping a roof over his head. All the links will be on the Kickstarter, or the Kickstarter campaign will be in the video description below, as will any other contact details. Adam, my friend, it's been a pleasure talking to you today, my friend. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Alan, thank you so much. And thank you also for really mentioning our team. It's not possible without all of the hardworking women and men that we have on them and their spouses. So thank you so much for noting that.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye now.
Okay.